So welcome. Thank you for joining us today here in our beautiful business center. This is Mayo Employees Federal Credit Union, and today we're going to talk about recognizing and avoiding financial scams. So scammers do not discriminate. They don't care about your age, gender, race, sexual orientation, profession. All they care about is what they can learn about you and how they can use that information to bring in their next payday. And no one is immune. Not even me. I'm Stephanie McCraffick. I am Mayo Credit Union certified or enterprise risk management specialist. I've worked in the financial industry for over 18 years. I've been an anti-fraud professional for going on over 7 years. And I'm a certified fraud examiner. And I fell for a targeted phishing attack. So it was with a previous employer. We were working really long hours, lots of overtime fighting a fraud surge. My days started typically about 6:30. Got up this morning, hadn't had my coffee yet, went into work, opened up my email and saw a message from my manager that said in big, bold capital letters, "Why didn't you tell me about this customer?" My brain went into panic mode. I opened the email. There was nothing there. I was like, what is she talking about? I clicked on the opening attachment and a message popped up that said, this was a simulated attack. And when I looked back, I was like, oh, I could see all the red flags. I was so embarrassed. I was a senior fraud analyst. I was part of the team that designed and developed this testing, and it got me. So anyone can be scammed. And there's a perfect scam out there for each and every one of us. I've worked with professionals across all types of organizations, including chief information security officers, cybersecurity specialists, and fraud analysts. And all of them have been victimized in targeted attacks. No one is immune. So today I want to go through some of the psychology behind why do we fall for scams, and talk about how scams work. Look at what we can do to recognize the signs of a scam and find our own triggers. I was lucky. When I fell for mine, one, it was a test, so mine didn't come with a big price tag, but that's not always the case. And then we're going to talk about a few of the current scams, some real life examples, and tools we can use to help avoid those. So why do we fall for scams? So I'm going to go through about 7 different areas that cover areas of our humanity that lead us victim to falling for scams. So the first is optimism bias. So neuroscientist Tali Sharot goes through in her TED Talk and talks about how 80% of people's brains believe that they are less likely than their peers to experience negative events and are more likely to experience positive events. So this is that feeling that it won't happen to me. So unless you're like me, where you think about fraud 24/7, like I will go to a wedding and you know that box you put your card in? I will sit and focus on that box until I know it has been secured and I cannot enjoy myself until that happens. Most people are not like me. Most people don't think about fraud 24/7, and most people can't think about all the worst case scenarios. So naturally, when we encounter a scam, it's not our first instinct to go, oh, this could be a scam. Now I know you might be thinking, I would know it's a scam. I would catch it, right? So let's do a little experiment. I want you to go through and think about, I'm going to go through some attributes and characteristics and think about for yourself, among the whole population, where do you fall? So how well are you at getting along without others? How many would you put yourself in the top 25%? How? At getting along with other people. Would you say you're really good at it? Yep. And how many would put yourself in the bottom 25%? Okay, so let's do the same for, how about your driving ability? How about how interesting you are? How attractive you are? How honest you are? How modest you are? So most of us generally are going to put ourselves at about average or maybe slightly above average, which is statistically impossible. We cannot all be average, or we cannot all be just slightly above average. So this is that optimism bias at play. because we have this innate ability to believe that we're better than, we're better off than, we're smarter than the other guy, that we can't get caught, it leaves us more vulnerable, and the fraudsters know this and they count on this. So fraudsters are going to target us during our most vulnerable moments. They're always looking for opportunities and ways to utilize our humanity against us. So they're going to look for how they can put traps into where we're busy and distracted. Through our day-to-day lives, they're going to look for opportunities where they can catch us when we're not paying attention. They're going to play on our fear and our worry. So whether that is the fear of taking an action, or the fear of not taking an action and what could happen, or if it's fear for your physical safety or the physical safety of someone you care about. Fraudsters and scammers play off these fears. The pandemic has been a goldmine for them because of our fear and our uncertainty surrounding it. Being helpful. Our helpful nature leads us to fall victim to prey. We want to help our friends and our communities and our neighbors. And scammers are always on the lookout for how they can collect on those donations and that helpfulness. Our trusting nature. It's in our nature to trust people first, question them unless, not to question them unless they give us a reason not to. And scammers play on that trust. Our wanting or loneliness. As human beings, we have a desire to feel wanted and needed. And these desires can lead us right into the hands of a scummy catfish or someone to play on those vulnerabilities. And lastly, money. We all want more bang for our buck. We want to do a side hustle to bring in a little extra, and so do the scammers. And you know, our individual wants, needs, desires, and yes, even greed can lead us into hot water. Because the scammers are always looking for ways to play on those. So this doesn't mean we're doomed. We're not doomed here. What we want to do is think about, what are your triggers? Where are your vulnerabilities? And we're going to look into like how the scam works so we can identify some of those red flags, so that way in pairing your triggers personally with the red flags, hopefully you can protect yourself and spot a scam coming. So how does the scam work? So first we have a scammer. So they're going to have a desire for an outcome, whether it be financial, money, a personal vendetta, and then they're going to create a plan. And then they're going to create their target, selecting their victims. So they're going to pick specifically tailored messages for these victims to send out. That could be phone messages, IMs, emails, text messages, social media. And then we have what we call the baited hook. This is why we call it phishing. These specifically tailored messages are going to have triggers that seem, or messages that seem reasonable, logical, exciting. They might trigger feelings of fear or panic. And then the goal is for them to start a conversation. They're going to build on that hook, keep you talking, encourage engagement. They want to build your trust. And that's how we end up with a victim. The more you engage with them, the longer the conversation keeps going, and they keep you talking, and they're going to gain your trust and lure you into giving out either your hard-earned money or your confidential information. So this is our basic roadmap of a scam. So what are the signs of a scam? When do we put a pause, put the brakes on, and stop and think things over? So if they're posing as a figure of authority or a known organization, scammers like to pose as licensing boards, FBI, IRS, your financial institution. They play on trusting relationships with figures of authority that you already have established, so it's less work for them. They claim it's an emergency. If you don't act right now, your prize winning's gone. Or a friend or family member is in emergency trouble. If we don't get your help right now, they're going to be in more harm or danger, right? If there's a use of pressure or threats. So again, this could be the pressure of like someone's physical safety, right? Like, so they're threatening like the life of someone, or it could be a pressure of, if you don't act, I'm going to send the police to your door. They use these types of threats and pressure because they want you to act before thinking. If something is unexpected or out of the blue, You get a phone call and you didn't think you owed the IRS money, but they're claiming if you don't pay now, they're going to send police to your door. Or you get a check in the mail and it even had you sign for the package, but you weren't expecting it. Don't deposit that check. They tell you it's a secret. Scammers and fraudsters are going to tell you to keep it a secret because by doing so, they're avoiding questions from your friends, your family, your financial institution. They may even go as far as to coach you as to what to say to your financial institution or friends and family when they start asking questions. And sometimes they'll go as far as to tell you that your financial institution can't be trusted, that they're in on it. If a scammer tells you how to send the money, they're going to direct you to services like a wire, cryptocurrency, Zelle, Cash App, gift cards, Western Union, services that once you send the money, it's like giving cash to a stranger. The funds are gone. There's no way to recover it. And they may ask for sensitive or private information. So whether this be account numbers, passwords, socials, your online banking information, sensitive photos, this information is information they will use themselves or use against you later. And last but not least, if it seems too good to be true, trust that feeling. There's so many times I hear from victims that I just felt like it was too good to be true and I just didn't listen to myself. Trust yourself. If it seems too good to be true, it likely is. So we're going to go through some of the trending scams with some real victims that I've experienced here in the last couple years. So we're talking through what imposter or phishing scams are, gift card scams, buying and selling online scams, travel scams, and friendly fraud or romance scams. So imposter scams are where a scammer is going to take advantage of technology and familiar organizations. So what they're going to do is they are going to send out mass messages from familiar organizations that are going to ask for confidential information or create a sense of panic or fear or something that you need to react to. Most of the time the message has nothing to do with the organization it's coming from, but they're simply changing slight alterations of the name, an email address, a phone number, little variations to make it appear legitimate. Common impersonation calls, emails, or texts are going to come from trusted companies, Amazon, your financial institution, utility companies, your phone or cable provider, Microsoft, Home Depot. Typically, they're going to be related to issues or delays in orders, billing concerns, locked accounts, refunds, or fraudulent charges. And sometimes with the utility company, they'll pose as the utility company and say that they're going to turn off your heat during the colder months if you don't pay. So what are the warning signs with imposter scams? Urgent action is required or something bad's going to happen. That sense of fear, right? Fear or coercion are being used. They're trying to play on that emotion. You received an unsolicited message about your order error, cancel of service, or a fraudulent charge. You have a message that contains links or attachments. And the message may contain strange spelling, grammar, and formatting issues. This is a good one to watch for, but I will say now with the increase in technology that scammers are getting better and better at using artificial intelligence to overcome some of these language and grammar barriers. And they're going to ask you, if they ask you to provide an account number or a code. This account number or code is what they're using to gain access to all your financial information. These codes, no bank, no financial is going to ask you for this information via text message or to provide something that they send to you. And lastly, if they are requesting funds via gift card or person-to-person payment service or some sort of digital currency. So here's our real life example. So spoofing is when somebody is disguising their email address, sender name, phone number, or web URL and impersonating someone else, like I said, by changing just a small character. At first glance, these appear very legitimate, but they're all scams. Their goal is to have you click on a link or take an action that's going to connect to your financial institution, put your login credentials, and then they have that information for later on and you're none the wiser. Scammers are like velociraptors. You familiar with dinosaurs? They're like velociraptors. They hunt in packs and they pick away at your defenses until they find the hole in the fence. So what are your weak spots? Are you starting to see your own vulnerabilities? So these ones here are from, this was Spectrum, this one was Comcast, and this was Spectrum, yep, another cable company. I laughed at this one because I don't know any cable company that's going to give you 40% off. That was my big chuckle on that one.
And how many companies would have their title of their company in lowercase?
Yeah, yeah, yep, spelling, yep, that's definitely one of the flags. So how you can protect yourself from these scams. So go to the company's app or direct website and speak with their customer service. Don't click the link and follow it, just call the phone number you're used to. Make sure if you are Googling a company to call them, that the website you're going to is legitimate. If a company needs to refund you, they already have your account number or your debit card information. Do not give this out. Just don't answer or hang up on unsolicited calls. If you don't know who it is, don't pick it up. If it's important, they'll leave you a message. And when you know it's a scammer, block the phone numbers and the email addresses. Report them to your phone providers. They keep track of those numbers and try to help weed those out. And a legitimate business will never ask you to make a payment with gift cards. So companies like Apple and Microsoft will not contact you unless you have already reached out to them for support. Don't allow remote access into your devices. And don't rely on caller ID to determine if someone is legitimate. It's very easy to spoof a phone number to look like it's coming from somewhere else. And if anything feels off, alert your financial institution. That's what we're here for. So the next scam we're going to cover is buying and selling items online. So buying and selling stuff online is great. I love it too, right? Like it's a great way to find deals, it's a great way to sell things, and it's a great way to make some extra cash. But places like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and other sites like this are going to attract a lot of goods and attention and buyers, but also scammers. So here's some ways they can try to cheat you and what you can do about it. So fake payments. So this is going to be where a scammer is going to reach out to you and they're going to say they want to buy something and they will send you a confirmation of a payment that they never actually sent. So typically they're going to ask to use Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, and they'll be like, well, I emailed you a receipt. You can see my payment here. I sent it. So you send off the item, but you never get paid. The variation to this one is that they'll say they paid you twice. And you need to refund them money because they'll show you proof that they paid you twice and you have to refund them their money. Excuse me. The next one is a business account is required. So we see this a lot typically with Zelle, where they'll ask to pay with Zelle. They'll say, I sent you your payment, and you're like, I didn't get it. They're like, well, check your email, see if Zelle sent you anything. And you'll have an email from Zelle that says you need to set up a business account or you need to send funds back to verify your account. That's not how Zelle works. So you get a fake check with overpayment. So these situations, they're going to send you a check for more than what your selling price is.
Online question from Soka.
Okay.
I've seen scans via QR codes, like scan your QR code to pull up a menu or at other facilities. What are your thoughts on protecting yourself against those kinds of scams?
Okay, so the question is scams with QR codes. Got it. And how to protect yourself. So QR code scams are a unique device in themselves. The best thing you can do is if you are at a website and you're concerned about the legitimacy of the code you're scanning, then you need to go back, look up the website, make sure the website's the HTTPS. If you're out and about and you're scanning it off of a paper and you have that concern, then again, if you scan it, pull up information. If it's asking you to enter information, that's your red flag. Close it out, direct yourself away, don't put anything in, and go to the legitimate site. So that's the best advice I can offer with QR codes. Okay, good? Okay, so fake check overpayments. So with these types of scams, what we'll see is the check is, excuse me, they're going to send you a check in the mail for more than your asking price. Typically, it'll come along with a reason that says like, oh, I'm going to have a truck person come pick it up and I just need you to pay them the difference for the shipment. Or they'll say, oops, I overpaid you. You can go ahead and send me the difference back. Well, what happens is you deposit that check to your financial institution and send them the money back, and it bounces and you're liable for the funds before you even have any clue that they're gone with your money. And then fake verification codes. So this is where someone is going to say, I've been seeing that there's a lot of fake advertisement lately out here on Marketplace. So I want to verify that you're a real person. So I'm going to send you a code to verify you're legitimate. So what they're doing is they're sending you a Google Voice code. And when you give them that code, they're connecting your phone number to a Google Voice account, which they will turn around and use to scam other people. And then those scams will be traced back to you. So don't give out codes or your phone number. So some of the warning signs. If you are asked to give your phone number so they can call you, you're already communicating on that platform and channel, they don't need your phone number. If you keep getting similar messages from various accounts, I've had this happen to me where I got 6 different messages from different profiles after I kept saying, I'm not giving you my phone number. So be cautious because they can create them that fast. If they give you a sob story about why they're having to sell something, if there's a long story about why something's for sale, walk away. If they ask to pay you to pay with or for them to pay you with gift cards, Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, digital currency, steer clear. If you're doing, I recommend online stuff, local only and cash only on pickup.
Are those Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, are those pretty legitimate sites if you use those?
We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But yes, they are. They are great services, right? They are meant for very specific things and they are great services. I prefer some over others for specific reasons, but they are great services. But the scammers have found their vulnerabilities and how to use it against people. So we'll come back to that in just a little bit. They are sending more than they're asking is a huge warning sign than you're asking. And if the price is extremely low on something, if you're looking at comparatively across the market what things are being charged for and it's really low, use extra caution. So this is a real life example of that Zelle email I was talking about. So what they'll do is they'll say, oh, check your email for Zelle. See this? gmail.com. This is not coming from anything with Zelle. Zelle will never send you an email directly. Zelle is set up through your financial institution. If that is where you have your Zelle account set up, your emails all communication would come from your financial institution, not from Zelle. You will have no interaction with them directly. So essentially here you can see them saying you need to send $500 to verify your business account. So this is the scam. So how you can protect yourself. Familiarize yourself with person-to-person payment services like Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Like we were saying, they are all great and legitimate services. I like Zelle because it is backed by your financial institution. When you set it up with your financial institution, just like when you open your bank account, there are specific vetting processes and federal regulations we have to abide by to be a participant with Zelle. Cash App and Venmo don't have those same regulatory requirements. They just don't. So at least with Zelle, you have your financial institution backing you as much as they can. With that being said, Zelle is like sending cash to a stranger. Once you send it out, it is gone. There's very little chance that anybody's going to be able to recover it for you. Don't use these services for the first time if somebody's asking you to do it. If somebody's saying, oh, I want to use Zelle and you've never used it before, it's not the time to learn about it. Like I said before, Zelle does not directly email individuals who have Zelle set up with their financial institution. Your communication would come through your bank. And Zelle is designed for friends and family only. Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, they all have their unique quirks and unique attributes, but Zelle is designed to pay your best friend back for coffee, or for grandma to send mom money because she bought some Girl Scout cookies. It's not meant to send a stranger online cash. And legitimate businesses accept multiple payment methods. If the business is only saying they're going to offer Zelle for payment or Cash App, walk away. Not only could it be a scam, but they clearly don't care about consumer protection, because if something goes bad with that transaction, there's nothing protecting you from the sour transaction. And you do not need a business account to accept money with Zelle. Never give out your username, password, PINs, codes, or anything sent to your phone. As we talked about before, this is how they can gain access to your financial information and how they can update and change things. So just don't give it out.
I had a problem with a motel and a fire in the motel, and blah, blah, blah. Of course, I paid for it on a credit card. I wanted a refund for that awful night. That motel wanted to pay me by Zelle, and I'm like, what? I don't do this.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. There are more businesses breaking into trying to use Zelle for payment, but just proceed with caution. No, if they're sending you a payment, I mean, it is yours. They can't get it back, right? But still proceed with caution.
I thought that was just so weird. And I said, no, I refuse this Zelle thing in Venmo. I said, I want a paper check for that refund.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to wait 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, that's me, it's worth it.
We have been seeing a little bit more of that with businesses trying to, because so many people are using these services that they're kind of trying to break into the use of them too. So the next scam we're going to go through is gift cards. Scammers love gift cards because they're hard to trace and the chances of you getting your money back is 0. So here's some of the various gift card scams and how they work. So there's third-party purchase gift cards. So this is when the scammer is going to physically go to the store. They're going to take the numbers off the back of the cards and the pins, and then they're going to put like tape and stickers and stuff back over to conceal that information's been stolen. And then once the gift card balance has been loaded, they're going to steal it. With retail and online store gift card scams, what they do is they take, excuse me, take bots to test millions of card and PIN combinations. And then when they get a hit on a card that's active and has a balance, they're either going to make a list to sell that information on the black market, or they're going to steal it. Discount and fake gift cards. So this goes back to our online stuff, Facebook, TikTok, Craigslist, Instagram, right? All of these services, they can offer like discounted cards, or people will sell gift cards, usually with a sob story. I'm trying to get cash. And typically with those, when you go ahead and pay for it with a Cash App or Venmo or Zelle, the gift card's empty and you're out the money. And then gift card for payments. Excuse me. So we typically see this with imposter scams, where they'll call and impersonate like a utility company and ask you to pay them with gift card, or like an IRS agent that'll call with threats, then you have to pay them with gift card. And if there was another one, nope, those are the two I want to mention. So that's typically what we see with the gift cards for payment ones. So some of the warning signs. If you're buying gift cards in the store, look for tampering. Look for an exposed pin. Is there a sticker peeling? Has it been altered or tampered with in any way? Does the packaging appear like it's bubbling or yellowed? Or has there been any glue applied? And look at the packages and compare them from one to another. Do they look the same, or is there differences between the packaging? So here you can see, like this one, the numbers don't match. So the numbers were changed here. This one, a sticker was placed, a label was placed over top the barcode. They're different. And then here you can see the stickers are all different for the same card. Excuse me. And then here on some packaging, you can see the glue's been popped up and the coloring, discoloring. And then this one, there's some bubbling in the packaging. So what are the warning signs? If you're asked to give out a gift card's number or PIN, once you give out that information, the money on the card's gone. If gift card payments are being used to avoid services being stopped or going to jail. If they try to keep you on the phone. Scammers, again, will try to keep you busy, keep you doing things, keep you from thinking, and so they're going to try to keep you on the phone. They're going to tell you which store to go buy from. They know which stores they don't ask as many questions, are the easiest to buy from, so they're going to direct you and tell you where to get your gift card from. They're going to tell you need to protect your money. This is a big scam we've been seeing come up, like your money is in danger, we need to get it out of your account and protect it and put it on a gift card. Your money is not safe on a gift card, ever. Or if there's services that are offering to check your balances. The only place to go to check a balance on a gift card is the store the card is from. And never pay for an activation fee. Gift cards activation fees have gone away, and this is a huge red flag of the company if they're still using activation fees. So how can you protect yourselves? Avoid buying from high target retailers. We love these stores. Everybody loves these stores. But that's why scammers target them, because we love them. If you are buying gift cards, try to buy from a financial institution or a merchant that chooses to lock up their gift card stock, or a reputable retailer online. If you're going to buy from a store, pull from the back. And make sure you're watching for those red flags with the package tampering. Get a receipt to verify the purchase of your gift card in case it's lost or stolen. Lost and stolen is way different than when you give out the information. If you lose your gift card or it's stolen from you, there might be a chance of recovery, so make sure you get a receipt so you have a way to verify it. If you give out the card number and PIN, they're going to tell you too bad. Check your gift card balances often. And when you give them as a gift, encourage your recipients to use them up quickly. And if you have fraud, report it to the merchant immediately. If they offer the opportunity to register your gift card or add a PIN or change a PIN, I highly recommend you do so. If you're buying online, make sure you're checking the store's URL so that it says HTTPS, that it is a secure site. And never buy gift cards sold on Facebook Marketplace, no matter, or the like, no matter how good of a deal it is. And if you're called about fraud or an account compromise, call your financial institution. That should be your first step. And only use gift cards at the store that they're issued at. RPU cannot use Apple gift cards. Apple gift cards are used at Apple, Google Play at Google Play, Home Depot at Home Depot. And only use gift cards for gifts. So the next type of scams we're going to go through is travel scams. With travel opening back up, we're seeing a spike in all different types of scams, including people looking for cheap airline tickets, ranging from bogus flight booking websites, fraudulent cancellation emails, and sudden price increases. Some of the different variations are going to be free vacations, robocalls about deals, vacation home scams, charter flight scams, or fraudulent or misleading third-party booking sites, or payment verification after check-in. So what are the warning signs? So you win a free vacation. All you have to do is pay a booking fee. Is it free if you're paying a booking fee? No. The website promises 5-star or luxury accommodations, but gives no details about what those accommodations are. If the website or online seller is offering airline tickets at a significant discount compared to everybody else. If they're asking you to pay with gift cards, person-to-person payment sites, digital currency. You get a call or message that's asked to pay extra for a flight, or that your flight's been canceled and there's a rebooking fee. Or you're asked to verify payment information over the phone, text, or email after you've checked in. So let's talk about Frank. So Frank had a business trip and he got checked into his hotel, had a very lovely front desk person he was working with. They took his credit card, put his card on file for incidentals in his room. He was good to go. He went up to his room. Told me that, maybe about an hour after he'd gotten settled into his room, he got a phone call from the front desk saying there was something wrong with his credit card and they needed to re-verify his information. They asked him to give his credit card number, the expiration date, his address, and the code on the back. He tells me the person was so friendly and so personable, he had no inkling anything was different. So later in his trip, about 6 hours later, he had huge charges on his credit card, fraudulent charges. What Frank didn't realize was that wasn't someone from the hotel calling. A scammer had called the hotel and asked for a random room number, got in Frank's room, and asked him for his credit card information. So how can you protect yourself from these types of travel scams? Do your research. Look up reviews before you send any funds. Purchase airline tickets directly from the airline or through reputable third-party sellers that offer customer service. If you receive any messages about your trip, contact the airline directly to make sure the message is legitimate. Same thing if you get a message through, a cruise or a hotel, contact them directly. If you're contacted about a payment error, physically go to the service desk if possible. Pull up your credit card statement or your debit card statement. Is the charge still there? Did it actually post to your, pending charge? And as a last resort, ask to call them back and then only use the phone number that was on your original booking receipt. And walk away if the deal seems too good to be true. Trust that gut instinct and ask experts. Seek out recommendations from trusted travel sources, friends and family who have used trusted places. And this is our final one here. So this is friendly fraud or romance scams. So friendly fraud and romance scams, their goal is they're going to adjust their story to meet each individual circumstance. They're going to use whatever works for each specific situation. They're going to say when it comes to meeting them in person that they can't meet you. They're going to give some sort of excuse about like they're working overseas or an emergency will come up. They might even go as far as to asking you to pay for their travel. These are not quick hit scams. These scammers are in it for the long haul. These scams can go on for months or years because at the end of the day, they're looking for a huge payout. And usually at the end, they're going to ask you for money, to hold money, or move money, all which can be bad for you and your bank account. So there's dating and romance scams, which is what a lot of people hear about, but there's also friendly fraud or friendly acquaintance scams. So what are the warning signs? Beware of promises to meet in person that never come to fruition. They're going to come up with a lot of excuses as to why they can't meet, or they're going to ask you to pay for them to come meet you. If you haven't met somebody within about 2 months, it's something to be cautious of. Watch the language and the message content. So these messages are going to often be poorly written, poor grammar, vague. They're going to escalate quickly from introduction to being really close. They're going to ask a lot of personal information about you and share a lot of information about them to make it seem like you're connecting. The progression of the relationship is going to escalate very quickly in the dating and romance scams from meeting to love. They're going to use a lot of flattery, a lot of nice words about you, and then they're going to project the image of an ideal partner. They can do this too in the friendly piece because they'll project that like best friend vibe. Then what they're going to do is they're going to try to move the conversation from whatever channel you originally met on to more private channels like phone, email, chat, text. They're going to try to move you away from the social platforms. They're going to attempt to isolate you. They're trying to get you away from the eyes and ears of your friends and family that are on your social platforms that could potentially see some of the conversations happening. So they're going to try to isolate you that, and then they're going to start to request sensitive photos and information, which people are more likely to do on private channels. That was a great question. The question, if you didn't hear it online, was why would they do that? And it was because they're going to attempt to isolate you. Great lead-in. So here is the Noble. Here's the Noble's 2022 top romance scam lies, okay, or top scammer lies. So a lot of these can be used for romance and friendly fraud. So I or someone close to me is sick, hurt, or in jail. Easily could go both ways for friend or romance. I can teach you how to invest. This has been a huge one. If you develop a friendship, I'm going to help you learn to invest your money. It's a big one. I'm in the military far away. I need help with an important delivery. This has been a popular one for the friend side of the scams. We've never met in person, but let's talk about marriage. I've come into some money or gold. I'm on an oil rig or ship, or you can trust me with your private pictures. So we're going to get really personal here. So my family and I just adopted a puppy, and he was part of a litter, and I really wanted to connect with his litter mates. So my Facebook profile, my social media is really locked down, but I posted this on a public page asking, does anybody else want to meet up who has this dog's, mom? And this is what I got in response from the scammer. And all he can see about me is me and my son. So from his perspective, I could be a single mom. Okay? And he says, Stephanie, I know it's a little weird talking to someone you don't know, but your personality is adorable, and you've got a beautiful and bright smile here. Flattery out of the gate. Seeing you on the suggested friend option, I was drawn to your timeline, and every message you put out is fascinating and worth good content. Odd grammar, and there's no content he can see on my profile. It's nothing but like that picture. I would love to add you here so we can talk and get to know ourselves. I've tried sending you a friend request, and it seems not to get through. Kindly send me a friend request if could reach you from here. God bless you and your family. Again, poor grammar, flattery, trying to move to a private channel. So this is what they do. They target specific groups of people on social media platforms with these different tactics. So how can you protect yourself? Never send money to someone you've met online. I personally don't have a habit of sending money to anybody in general, but especially people you don't know and meet online. Be wary of anybody who falls too fast, too quickly, or seems too good to be true. Trust your gut. Don't trust anyone who can't video chat, but don't rely on video chat to verify someone's identity. Never give out your confidential information, and use caution when giving out personal information. Use reverse image search to see who you're talking to. Run if they start asking for favors with money or they ask for money. Beware of sob stories, pet names, lots of flattery. And do your research. Ask for others' opinions, and this one is big. Listen to them. I cannot tell you how many people that we go through months and months of this and they just don't listen. And it's because they're so hooked and they've got them so trusting and so into this situation that they won't listen. If your friends and family are saying something doesn't feel right, they have your best interest at heart. So what can your financial institution offer you that kind of helps protect you from some of these scammers? Your debit card and credit card fraud alerts. Familiarize yourself with what the alerts look like, what you can expect from your financial institution, and when you get them, call your financial institution right away. There's lots of different types of transaction alerts, balances, transaction thresholds, the clearing of checks, ACHs or external transfers, general security alerts. I personally I have one where every time I log into my online banking, I get an alert that a logon's been created. So that's my favorite because if someone else is logging in, I'm going to see it. And then there's card management, which allows you to turn your debit card off and on as you need to or want to. Online banking and paper statements, access to monitoring your accounts and doing your activity. These are so important. Real-time review is critical these days. I always tell people, ideally, like at month end, you have to review your statements so you know what's going on and if there's fraud to report it. But that's really not enough anymore. With how fast money moves these days, you really need to be keeping an eye on things daily or weekly at a minimum. And then our member support. We have phone center support that can help, text message, chat, in person. Find out what support your financial institution offers and make sure you're familiar with those methods so you can contact someone if something comes up. And we're here to support all Mayo employees and their families, no matter where they choose to do their primary financial. So if you have any type of suspicious situation, our teams are happy to review it with you. So reporting and knowledge are key to help protecting yourself. So when it comes to reporting scams, the Better Business Bureau, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Internet Crimes Complaint Center are going to be 3 great resources to reporting scams and for knowledge and education. AARP also offers some really great scam information and resources. So I want to go through really quickly. You've been scammed, so now what do you do? I want to go through a few steps really quickly on the actions you should take if you've been scammed. First thing is shut down access to your money and confidential information. Call your bank, block your account, block your debit cards, freeze your social security number. Take the actions to secure everything. Block the scammer. Block the email, block the phone number, stop contact. You're not going to recover funds. That's the biggest trap people fall into, is they think that by talking to them, they're going to be able to try to recover. Don't do that. And then expect that they're going to keep trying to reach you through alternate methods. They're going to keep trying to restill and rebuild that trust. Report the scam. Gather your documentation, the numbers, the information that was provided to you, anything you can, and bring that to your financial institution, your local law enforcement, and IC3 to report it.
What is IC3?
Internet Crimes Complaint Center. It's the FBI's Internet Crimes Complaint Reporting Center. The question was, what is IC3? And then rebuild your accounts as needed. Work with your financial institution to rebuild your accounts, reestablish the relationship so that way you are set to go and continue to move your finances forward. Recover emotionally and financially. Scams take an emotional toll. They are. You have been victimized, and there is an impact to that. And recognize that. There are lots of credible organizations like SCARS that will help you deal with the emotional impact of being scammed. And then work with your financial institution to repair and rebuild your financial plan. We have great resources here. We have Soka here, who's amazing, and she's a great resource to help you rebuild maybe what that scammer took away from you and help you get back on track for what your financial goals are. And then build knowledge to protect yourself against scams in the future. Knowledge is power, and the more you can educate yourself about what's out there and what's happening and the triggers that you personally have, the better you can protect yourself. Questions?
I'm a regular Facebook Marketplace buyer and seller, and quite often if I'm selling something, I'll get, as it happened this weekend, 3 people that says, hey, is this available? And then I never hear from them. And I almost feel like they're trying to make contact, and I'll say, yes, it's available.
Mm-hmm.
But then I never hear back from them, and I think, are they somehow tracking me? I mean, I just find this odd that this phenomenon happens.
Sure.
And I mean, I sold it to the 4th person, but I feel like they're trying to do something to get into my Facebook account.
Sure. So the question is regarding buying and selling online with Facebook when you have multiple people that are like saying, is this available? And you say yes, and there's really no response. There's a concern about, are they trying to get information, or trying to pick at your kind of resources. The question could be yes, probably, possibly. It could just be people that don't follow through, right? Because people do that. But it could be a scammer trying to kind of see what information they could get, kind of what information they can find. So I would encourage, if you do sell and buy a lot on Facebook, check your privacy settings. There's a little function in the top that you can like view as, and it can show you what your public profile looks like. View your public profile. See what information is actually on your public profile that people who are not your direct friends and family can see. And continue to be mindful of what you are putting on social media, because you may have your private settings completely locked down, but your sister may not, or your son may not. And
Under settings?
yep, under the settings, just do privacy. Yep.
And then view as,
Well, under your main profile page, there's a box. They may have moved where it is, but there's a box that says view as, and that'll let you view as where your public profile is.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had one that was trying to call me from Seattle. And we've been Facebook things back and forth, but I don't even know how she got my name.
Okay.
And so one night, they tried to call me and didn't go through or something. And so she said, call me. And so I called her. And someone has stolen my identity.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do about that?
So someone has stolen your identity?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have somebody in Seattle that has been calling you. Did they get information about you that makes you think they're using your identity? Or it's just this there's an interaction happening between this individual and you that you're concerned?
Well, it's an old account that I thought was gone.
So it's your account.
Yeah, and they've stolen that photo,
Okay.
and they're
They're using it.
using my identity.
Got it. Okay. Excuse me. So what's happening is online, her Facebook photo, an old photo, has been stolen. They're using it to replicate her. That's tricky. That's a really hard one because I've actually dealt with that personally with a cousin, and it is pretty impossible to get those accounts shut down and re-locked up. I've worked with her to report to Facebook, and it's still out there. I think that personally is one of my pet peeves with Facebook, is they don't do a great job about locking that stuff down and taking it down. So I think the best thing you can do is make sure that your friends and family and the people that you know are aware that that's out there and that's not you, and keep reporting it to Facebook. So there's a spot on Facebook when you go, like you can click on a profile and you can click report this profile. And you should do that with every scam that you come up with selling stuff too, is report each of the profiles on Facebook as you see scams and you're shopping and doing buying and selling stuff. But there's a spot next to the profile you can click that says report this. If you want, after the session, I can walk through it and I'll show you where it is. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about checking your statements online frequently and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Going through. Is there any antivirus software that you would recommend, to make sure that you're not, going somewhere or bringing something in that could kind of shut you down? And then tangential to that, as we all upgrade our phones or upgrade our hardware, and you want to recycle it or trade it in with the phone, how do you make sure it's clear of everything that's important, especially if you're doing everything
On your
through
phone.
it?
Yeah. Those are some great questions. The first one was, are there recommendations for antivirus software to protect yourself from things coming through or from you clicking on bad things? The answer to that question is have an antivirus software. I'm not going to make any personal recommendations on that one because my expertise is not cybersecurity. Mine is more broader. I do have cybersecurity experts who might have some opinions on that. But what I would really recommend is that you do your research thoroughly yourself and pick a software that works for you. And then on top of that, no software is going to 100% protect you. Because every action that you take, there's a risk and a vulnerability to it. So it's just making sure that you're aware of what you're clicking on and how far kind of that rabbit hole takes you. Like, I see it a lot with holiday shopping, particularly when people are hunting for a specific thing. They'll click on a link at a site that they know is secure, and then the next thing they're clicking a link and clicking a link and clicking a link, and then finally they're somewhere that's not secure because of the pathways they're following. So just being extra conscious and vigilant about what you're clicking. The second question was regards to your phone and your devices. If you're doing everything on your phone, how do you make sure when you're trading them in that they're clear of your data? When you are trading in your phone, if you are trading it in, like actually trading it in, it's best to do that with your cell phone provider and stand there with them while they wipe your device. When they transfer all your information to your new device, you should be standing there and watching them wipe the device, and then they should be able to pull it up and show you that there's nothing on that device or that SIM card anymore. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah.
Best I can, yeah.
Laptops?
Laptops are the same with computers. Make sure you have good antivirus on them. Make sure you are following your updates and that you're doing your patches and your security updates that you're supposed to. Don't let your software get outdated. So, do you have another question? Oh, okay. Oh, if you're giving them away? Yeah, if you're giving the laptops away, I would definitely recommend taking them to be wiped of data before you give them away to somebody. Yeah. Yeah, like Geek Squad, Miracle Computers. I don't know if that's around here anymore, Miracle Computers. Best Buy, yeah, Geek Squad. Yeah, those are great sites to wipe those things.
We do a phone, maybe Stephanie had touched on this a bit, but a lot of times if you go to like where you're going to get a phone, Verizon, mobile delivery, they will actually like have you on your phone do it personally, like hard reset my phone. So a lot of times they'll either accept the phones and then we sell them online. It's just like a side business. So you get a new phone out of it, but then someone else gets newer, cheaper phones.
Yep. Yep. We're just reiterating, if you go to when you're trading in your phone, make sure you're wiping it with your service provider right there. Yep. Any online questions? No? Anybody else?
What was it? Reverse image?
Reverse image search?
Yeah, what was that?
That is a specific tool that is online that you can utilize to search images to find out if if they're being used other places through like the online sphere.
How would I?
Well, it's Google. If you look Google reverse image search, it is pretty. It's kind of a techie system. So you would want to look it up and read through their manual and their program and download the software and yeah.
And if I went into that reverse image
Search. For your Facebook stuff, what you'll likely find is your own picture. You'll find out like where else they're using it. You could find out where else they're using that same picture. Seth, do you have more on that? Okay.
Yeah, you can, a lot of times you can see where things have originated from. So you'll see that, because your Facebook account, for example, that it was first uploaded, you can see that it'll most likely show you the date. Like you uploaded this in 2016, whatever year, 2016, and it's now been used 4 times in the last 6 months. You know, a new thing, you're like, I haven't done anything with that photograph. So you can see that, oh, maybe they've made another Facebook account, or they're using it as a profile for
Instagram.
A picture for Instagram or anything online.
Yep.
So it'll show you like where that's been uploaded to or used at.
And so if you find that, then what do you do?
If you find it, what do? You're going to want to go to those sites and report it. Like similar with Facebook, you're going to want to find out how they let you report things that are suspicious, and you're going to want to report it to the company. And unfortunately, then you're at the mercy of the company to do something about it. So really your best bet might just be to continuously hound Facebook and say, this is not me, take it down, delete it, and hopefully they take action. Or other companies that you're finding information on. Yeah, Soka?
And some image search, what do you think, so if I think that I'm getting scammed, like a romance scam,
Mhm.
and so you suggest that what do that to figure out if that picture over several platforms, I'm getting this person, this picture as a cat.
Mhm.
That is a good reason.
It's a
Is that
Great. So the question is, is the reverse image search a way to help identify if someone's a potential romance scam or a catfish? The answer is yes. That is an excellent tool for that because by doing the reverse image search, you can see that they have the same picture on Betty Sue as they do on Mary Jo. And that they're the same person with two different names with the same picture, and they're clearly not probably either of them. So it's a great tool. It does require a little bit of knowledge to use, and we're happy to help with that. If people need, we'll do the best we can to help with stuff like that, but it does require a little bit of knowledge to use. Anybody else?
Buying and selling on Facebook Marketplace. Is it good to have a separate account under Facebook that doesn't have your first and last name?
So from a security perspective and like my really hardcore fraud brain would say absolutely. The question was, should you have a separate profile on Facebook to sell stuff if you're selling stuff? From Facebook's perspective, they're probably not going to let you do that because they'll probably flag you as a scammer. Yep. Yeah, it might even be against their terms and conditions.
You have like two accounts.
You can,
A parent account and then, or at least I've heard that from my younger friends.
So you can have different pages. You can have a different page.
Oh, that would be it,
So,
yes.
yeah, so you can't have like two of you, two of
yeah.
Betty Sue or whatever, But you can have other pages, but I don't know if pages can interact with Marketplace.
Depending on settings, you might be able to get through them, and yeah.
I'm not super.
Nope, I'm not either.
Things, but
Yeah.
I think having two of you, like this one is very locked down and private that all of my friends and family see, and then one for Marketplace, I think is technically against state. You might get flagged as a
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't mean flag, but yes, I think that was, there's a parent account and then I can have a page.
Yeah.
It's
Page
called
might not interact with
The Marketplace, the same.
Page, it's like a sub thing, but pages might not be able to do all the things that a normal
Right.
account can do. But I'm not sure on that. I'm not a big Facebook user personally, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff to sell.
I understand. I hear you.
I just
Yes.
do not have my first and last name.
Okay.
Mhm.
I looked up on Facebook. How did I do that? For my name.
Mhm.
And it came back like there were 5 people with my name.
Well, I mean, there could be people that have your name.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're using your picture, then I would report those profiles. But
How do I know if they are using my?
will you be able, like when you click on the name, you'll pop up and it'll show their profile picture. Yeah. Because I mean, especially with my maiden name, there was like 6 people that had my exact same name, and they're legitimate people, but not using my information. Yep. Any other questions? Are we good? Okay. Well, I'm here if you. Yeah. I was like, I'm here if you have any other questions. We're happy to take any questions. Give us a call at any point in time. And thank you so much for attending. We appreciate it.
Thank